It might seem crazy, but we started as a relationship advice podcast. No, really. In our News from the Warfront series, we respond to messages from listeners and social media posts about relationship conflicts in gaming groups. If your gaming group is going through a rough patch, we can help. Whether you play trading card games, board games, RPGs, or poker, our advice can resolve conflicts in your friend group so you can get back to having fun. Leave a comment or send an email to mymythicalmeta@gmail.com. It's time for
News from the Warfront.
Welcome back to My Mythical Meta. My name is Travis, and I'm joined this evening by my brother Benjamin.
Hello.
We have got a News from the Warfront today from our YouTube channel, from a very frequent poster. I'm really excited to be able to give this guy some advice. I'm going to go ahead and name him here. He's commented on just about every video we've done, and he's been with us for a very long time. What's up, Gundam Pilot Ben? We're very excited to address your question. Gundam Pilot Ben wrote, I'm part of a play group where everyone likes magic except one guy. And I think he feels that we don't really consider his feelings when we get together for game nights. The thing is, the rest of us really prefer magic. So what should we do? This is a great question, and I think it's something that is common in play groups. Hobbies go in and out of people's interests. That's a really normal thing. You know, people's interests evolve and change as they grow. Their life situations change. Their finances change.
Yeah.
And Magic is an expensive game to keep up with. So I certainly understand where this poster is coming from. And we've talked it over. We do have a little bit of advice for you. Yeah. Here's my first bit of advice. And I'm going to say something we say on the show very often. Do not make assumptions. You know, you say that you think he feels you don't consider his feelings. You think he doesn't want to play Magic anymore.
A lot of assumptions in there. I'm agreeing with you that, there's a lot of assumption. I think, he feels.
Yeah, I feel there's a lot of uncertainty in your post. We at My Mythical Meta, we do not believe in codes, signals, interpreting facial expressions. You know, he paused before he looked at me. What could it mean? No. So here's our advice. Ask him flat out if he'd prefer to play a different game or do something else. Okay? Ask him the question or say, you look like you don't want to play Magic. Is there something you'd rather do? Use your words and then ask him to do the same. If he starts getting all fine, you know,
believe him.
If he says it's fine, you under no obligation to continue pressing the point.
Yeah.
If he says he's fine.
Now, if he really looks miserable, maybe there's something else going on, and you can check and be a good friend and, be there to support him and all that stuff.
If you are noticing those body signals, that body language, that something is wrong, then press 2 or 3 times. Say, are you sure nothing's wrong? Are you sure there's nothing you'd rather do? It's okay to do that and ask. And ask him to do the same. Ask him to use words and to say what he'd prefer to do.
And you can put the blame on you. You say, look, I'm really bad at reading facial expressions or whatever. You know, I've never been great at that. You say, so I'm relying on you to be honest about your feelings so that I can be a good friend for you. You know, put that.
And you, poster, you should literally say, we value you. We want to spend time with you. You are our friend. Put it in words and say it really clearly that you want to spend time together. Yes, you guys like some of you like to play Magic together, but if this is about the entire group, then, and you want this person to stay and hanging out with you, I mean, I suppose that's a choice you could make, is meet separately.
Right, yeah.
I mean, I don't think that that's the best option, because I've been in friend groups where people start hanging out separately to do separate things, and those groups just mitosis out.
Yeah.
Okay? They just pop, the circles close, and they fall apart.
Yeah.
So you would really need to ask yourself if that's what you want to happen to this friend group. And because you're asking, I don't think that's what you want to happen.
Right.
Right? If you wanted to stop hanging out with him, you just do it. You just start the separate group chat and say, hey, do y'all want to play Magic without him today?
Right.
Right? I mean, that's what you would do if that was your choice.
And that is an option. I mean, like once you've determined that they don't like to play Magic, you can start, and say, are you okay if we play Magic without you? Right? Check, because but you might find that he's relieved that he doesn't feel pressured to play Magic
Yeah.
when that's what y'all want to do. He'd be like, you know what? No, every other time that y'all play Magic, just leave me, have your group chat for that. The big thing though is make sure that you're on the right group chat when you share good news and all that other stuff, because
Yeah,
that happens sometimes, and then the fragmentation starts. But
exactly.
having the separate group chat to just talk MTG so it doesn't clutter up, so he's not getting
Yeah, so he's not
spoiler
getting
alert.
nonstop Magic news.
Yeah, spoiler alerts.
Spoilers that he
You see
doesn't care about.
right.
Yeah.
Because we do that in our group chat all the time. Hey, did y'all see this card that just came out? Oh, that's so cool. And yeah, I could totally understand a friend that's not into Magic being like, oh my goodness, mute.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I don't think Derek and Randy and the girls would want us talking Magic in that big group chat.
right.
We're going to go over to the Metapod chat to talk Magic.
Exactly.
Our wives don't care about that stuff, and so I'm not going to clutter up that group chat with it. But like we said, be very intentional and use your words and make sure that he knows he's a valued member.
Yes.
Okay. And like I said, because you're asking, what should we do? How can we keep him in? That's the angle that we're coming from when we respond to this question. We're going to give you some advice about ways that you can try to keep this other player in your group and ways for your group to stay together. We've got a few ideas. Benjamin, start us off.
So the first one is you could just say, hey, especially if it's a regular group that meets like every other week or something like that, you can get on a rotation where each friend in that group is the one who, like, hey, today is Travis's day to decide what we're doing. And he may not choose Magic all night. He might say, we're going to play three games of Magic and then try this new board game I got. Right? Because you'll find that doing this allows everyone freedom, not just that one friend. Right? You can see that I have a whole shelves of games here that I don't get to play because we play Magic all the time. So that would be an opportunity for me to say, you know what, we're going to play Andor, or we're going to try a Magic variant and play Arena of the Planeswalkers or whatever it is, right?
I'll bring it back to our group again. Sometimes I know that I've scheduled hangouts where we like build Gunpla.
Yeah.
Or paint models or something.
Yeah, right.
And say, hey, we're not going to play Magic today. We're just going to do something else.
Yeah.
So, yeah, give everyone an opportunity to pick the hangout.
Yeah.
That's gonna give your friend a feeling that he is being included and listened to and valued, because whatever his opinion was for his night gets honored.
Yeah. And the rest of you still get to play Magic most of the time. So, and that may be enough. If every third or fourth time he gets to do something different, that may just be all he needs, right? That he may not need, he's probably fine with Magic if he's part of your group and you're asking this question. He's probably been playing Magic with you all a long time, but also probably needs something different, right?
Right.
So that sort of thing is a great opportunity to do that.
Another option is agree that each time you hang out, you do one thing that isn't Magic. Yeah. So maybe go out to eat first.
Yeah.
Or
that's a good one.
That's a good way to just be in each other's company and talk about the rest of your lives before you're only saying untap, upkeep, draw, land for turn, attack step. Before the conversation gets drowned out in phases of Magic.
Yeah.
Share a meal with each other or do something where you get to catch up on each other's lives. Yeah. And stay connected in those ways.
Yeah.
Putt golf and then to the shop.
Right.
Or, I don't know. I'm just saying stuff. But
right. Well, yeah. And it could be, we spend half the time, trying a new game and then Magic. Like we did last time. We tried Wonders of the First and played 2 games of that and then played Magic the rest of the night, provide some opportunity. But yeah, doing something that's not Magic. Yeah.
Here's another one. And we actually suggested this on our last News from the Warfront too. Try out a Magic variant. Maybe the system of Magic is fine, but your friend might be getting annoyed or tired of like the temperature of the room, or not the literal temperature, but he's getting tired of like the dynamics. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Like the interpersonal dynamics of that game are what is annoying. And or what he's getting frustrated with. So maybe try a variant, something that's a little more interesting. Or not more interesting, but different.
Yeah.
So maybe trying 60 card, maybe trying some other form of constructed Magic, playing 1v1 and doing a tournament style or something.
Yeah, a lot of our listeners may not know this, but Magic isn't just 100 card Commander.
Magic for its first 20 years was 1v1 60 card constructed.
That's right.
So there's lots of Magic outside of Commander that is an option.
Yeah.
You know, Brawl, Pioneer, Modern. So certainly those are options. I like doing limited or cubes.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's fun.
I find that I especially like doing sealed. I
Yeah.
know Derek and Randy don't like doing sealed, but I find that pretty fun.
I do too.
I found the jumpstart packs interesting. They don't often make a great deck, but it's unpredictable and I see new cards and
Yeah.
you just see what happens in the game.
And it's not that expensive. Hey,
Yeah,
we're gonna
it's
buy a
not that
couple
expensive to
jumpstart,
do.
and you can make a jumpstart cube.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun too. So making your own cube is a really fun experiment.
Yeah.
Because you get to pick the archetypes that will show up throughout the draft. So if you want to do a +1/+1 counter theme in these colors, and aristocrats theme in 2 other colors, you know, I'm just saying stuff, but you get the idea. You can make whatever cards or whatever sets or characters. You could do a planeswalker draft. And it's,
that'd be cool.
I've got all the cards with Liliana in the art. I've got all the cards with Teferi in the art, and then that's how you make your draft. You know, I'm just saying stuff. So Cube Limited is fun, and I'm actually going to say I'm going to go ahead and tell our listeners what My Mythical Meta's next deck challenge is. If you've been a listener for a while, we do deck challenges throughout the year in addition to our Secret Santa, and our next deck challenge is a format called Pendragon. It's a variant of Commander where you have 2 commanders. One of them is a common creature, and the other is a legendary equipment. Your common creature is your Arthur character, and your legendary equipment is the Excalibur, the sword or the weapon, the equipment that's going to turn this commoner into something amazing.
Yeah.
And then the other rules for Pendragon, the rest of the deck is all common cards and it's all singleton. So, you know, 1 of each non-basic land, and then basic lands are the only things you can have multiple of. But the entire deck is pauper. The entire deck is common except for that 1 legendary equipment. Derek is already struggling with that. He's been saying, all my removal costs 4, stuff like that. And I want to tell the listeners, I am going to build my deck based on suggestions from the listeners. So get into the comments, comment on the shorts, comment on this video. Tell me what amazing combination you can come up with between a common creature and a legendary equipment. You know, I've been struggling to come up with it because there's only 40-something legendary equipments, but there's obviously like 100,000 common creatures that you could base a deck around. So I've been really struggling, and I'm going to make it easier for myself by limiting my choices to the stuff that comes in through the suggestions. So that's our next thing, something we're doing to try to keep the game interesting. Benjamin, what's something else?
You can have a bigger friend group than just 4 people, so that non-Magic friend doesn't feel compelled to play Magic when he just wants to stay home. Obviously, he mentioned that this can lead to fragmentation, but if you've got a group of 15 people, you say, okay, we're having Magic Night. Everyone who wants to show up to Magic Night, show up. We're having a pizza party and we're going to watch Lord of the Rings. Everyone who's interested in Lord of the Rings, show up. Okay, we have a D&D thing going. Everybody who wants to play D&D. Okay, we're going to have a square dancing competition. You know,
we're gonna go to an escape room.
Yeah, we're gonna build Gunpla. We're gonna do a wine painting night. Right, and the people who want to show up can show up. Now that this is what clubs are, right? But ultimately, if you join something that's not Magic based with your friend, then you can hang out with that friend with certain groups, and you can have your Magic groups, and they can be separate. And that's a way to make sure that you are still taking those opportunities to hang out with non-Magic friend and still having your pot of 4 maybe filled in by somebody else, right? Yeah. So they don't feel like they're letting you down when they don't want to play Magic, because that is something that I think when there's a situation like this, I think that's really common, is the person feels like, look, I like hanging out with these friends, and I know that Commanders is best in a group of 4, and I don't want them to feel bad that I didn't come. So I'm gonna do this thing that I'll slog through another Commander night for the good of my friends. if you have a group of 5, 6, 7 people and just have 4 people showing up, it doesn't have to be the same 4. And that can actually help y'all have regular, like, hey, we meet every Friday. Show up if you want to. And have, I mean, ultimately, that's what an LGS is. A healthy LGS where people know each other is this large group where the people who want to show up, show up. But if you can have it be other things happening, right? You can even have it where 7 people show up, 4 play Commander, and 3 play Settlers of Catan or whatever, right? But that can only work if you have a larger friend group so that you can sample all this stuff together. So maybe
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was in a group right out of college. So the first school I taught at, and my first like real coworker friend, she learned that I played Magic and introduced me to her husband. And I was really involved with their friend group of about 9 people for a very long time. We hung out for 5 or 6 years. And it was exactly that. You know, sometimes only 6 people show up, and sometimes a different group of 7 people show up. And on the times where 9 people showed up, one group was playing Magic and another group was playing Smash Brothers or doing something else or cooking or whatever, or a board game and stuff like that. So it's, yeah, I think that's an excellent suggestion, is just have a bigger friend group and just say all of these events, all these things we do are open to everyone. So make more friends.
Check out our episodes on how to make friends.
This one, episode 1, episode 3, episode 7.
Yeah, basically our first 50 episodes.
Yeah.
They're not as polished as these are. He didn't understand all this editing.
I didn't understand video at the time, so those are primarily audio podcasts.
But they're good. They're good to listen.
They are good. And I'll give one more thing. And this goes back to what I said earlier about do not rely on signals or codes or anything like that. Literally ask this friend what they would prefer to do, and then you have to try it out a few times. Yeah. Not just once, not just twice. You need to try it out, 3 to 7 times. Okay. And it's because this friend, you mentioned that this is a member of your Magic group. This person has given Magic an honest try. They've gone through it. They've invested in their own decks in some cases. I'm guessing if what you said in your post sounds like what it sounds like to us. This person has given Magic an honest try, so it would be a nice thing for your group to do for him.
Yeah.
We're not saying that you owe it to him. We're not saying that you need to keep the scores and he played Magic with you 10 times and so you need to do something else 10 times with him. That's not what we're saying.
No.
Okay, it's not a transaction. You don't have to be even. But if this person has done something nice for you and your group and tried to like something, then it would be nice for you to do the same. It would be nice for you to do that in return, to try to like something else, something new that you can enjoy together.
And you might find stuff you like.
Amazing. Isn't that crazy?
Apparently there's other games out there.
A long time ago, when I started getting into Star Wars Imperial Assault, that was the first game that I started painting. That was the first miniatures I ever painted and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then, kind of separately from me, Randy got interested in painting Dungeons and Dragons miniatures. And so the two of us kind of discovered that was something that we enjoyed doing that was different from Magic. Right. And then by inviting Derek over to try it, to just say like, hey man, neither of us are very good, but we just try it and we throw the colors on the dragon's wings where we think it would look cool. And, we watch a couple tutorial videos and try to figure it out together. But eventually that became something else that we did besides Magic on a regular basis. And so we think you have the opportunity here to ask your friend what else they like and try to do it with them.
Yeah.
Maybe they're playing Baldur's Gate Online and you have the disposable income and the time to try it out. I don't know, but give it a shot. Benjamin, is there any last nuggets of wisdom you want to provide our listener?
Yeah, the most important thing here is that this person is your friend. You value them as a person. And regardless of how this all turns out, you make sure that each of you respects each other as people, respect their preferences, honor their time, and work. Y'all should be working mutually together to help each other have a better time when y'all are together.
That's right. Fun is not a zero-sum game. Everyone can have fun. Yeah. one last reminder, I'm looking for suggestions for a Pendragon deck. So jump in the comments. Jump in the comments here, or if you're watching the short, jump in on TikTok, Instagram. A common creature and a legendary equipment, and the rest of the deck is common singleton, 98 more cards. It's called Pendragon. Look it up. Thank you, listeners, for listening. Please comment with suggestions, comment with questions, or future news from the Warfront requests. You can let us know about a situation that you've got in your own gaming group, or something that you might see on social media and you just want to hear news from the peanut gallery.
That's right.
If you just want to hear our opinions on a wacky situation that you noticed on social media, send it to us, let us know, and we'd be happy to respond. If you are interested in our Patreon, you can find us at patreon.com/mymythicalmeta. You can contact us directly at mymythicalmeta@gmail.com. Listeners, thank you so much for listening. And Benjamin, thank you for being the best brother I've ever had.
And thank you for being the only brother I've ever had.
Thanks, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
This episode was sponsored by Eldorado Gaming. Use the promo code META for 10% off your order. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. This episode was edited by me, Travis Konishek, and our intro and outro music is by Tyler Heath of the Oh Hellos.